Hello everyone, my name is Dylan. I'm here from gunspot.com, which is an online listing and auction site for both new and used firearms. And in this video, I'm here for the armorylife.com. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the TXC holster X1 Pro. So this is a holster that I've wanted to try out for quite some time, and it's because it's got a lot of interesting, neat little features. First of all, they've got one of the coolest holster design systems that I've ever seen on a website. It's got a 3D modeling of the holster when it spins, and you can pick out all the colors for your washers, things like that. The other thing about it that's really neat, there's a ton of holsters on the market, and I've tried a lot of them, and for the most part, a lot of them are the same, or they have some sort of gimmicky thing. This holster has some unique things that I wanted to see if they were a gimmick or if it was actually good ideas. So for starters, up here on the top of the holster, what you'll notice is they've got this little wedge piece here, and that kind of pulls the clip forward off the holster and kind of pulls the two pieces apart a little bit. So this little wedge right here, this is a machined piece of metal that I'm talking about, and what this is it's called a Helix. It's their proprietary piece, they invented it, and now they actually sell this where you can buy it for other holsters. So what this little piece does is it actually replaces the mod wing part that goes on holsters where it comes out this way and pushes on your belt. So for example, right here I have my Tulster Oath holster, and as you can see, this holster right here has the mod wing that comes out on the side. With the Helix, it actually replaces that and you no longer need it. The other interesting part of this, and the part that really drew me to it, is the fact that the back of the holster has this wedge shape to it. Right here you can see it's got some cuts so that the holster is able to breathe while it's against your body. But the interesting thing is it gives the holster an angle like this as it sits against you in the appendix position. So in theory, what this is supposed to do is cant your holster like this with your belt still running this direction, but it allows the pistol grip to hug your body more and hide it. So for example, if you can see right now, this is what the holster would look like if it's up. Now with the wedge lined up against your body, that is actually the angle that happens. So you can see we go from straight to having that slight cant, and that's what gets it to sit perfectly next to your body as you're concealing it, and it actually works really well. I've got to say, it conceals the gun quite well. But really quick, to show you an example of how well this holster can conceal a gun, here is an example of me wearing what I would deem a muscle shirt. I don't really have a lot of tight-fitting t-shirts, but out of my t-shirts, this is one of my most tight-fitting one. So this shirt fits much tighter, and as you can see, it still conceals the gun very well. Now this is an example of an unfitted shirt that is a low quality, more stiff cotton type shirt. This is actually a standard Gildan shirt. They're usually the really cheap ones, and a good example of this shirt is anytime you volunteer for a project or something like that and there are team t-shirts they hand out, this is usually what it is. So if it's a kids soccer shirt, if it's a church volunteer shirt, if it's something to that effect, this is usually the shirt they use from Gildan because it's cheaper to produce. In my experience, if you wear a button down or anything like that, it's going to be virtually invisible, and of course if you add a jacket or a sweatshirt or anything, it's completely invisible. I'm using the Hellcat Pro with this holster. Although it's not intended for the Pro, I did have to modify the holster in order to get it to fit. Now really quick, let me cover what I meant by this holster is not actually for the Hellcat Pro. So something they do interesting with the TXC line is they're all open-ended, which means it's got plenty of length for the Hellcat Pro, as you can see, but right here there were actually two divots where it attached, or it created tension with the original dust cover on the Hellcat, which is shorter than the Pro, because on the Pro, your dust cover runs all the way to the end of the slide. So originally there were some divots that put pressure about right here on the gun, and I have a Dremel tool and a sander, and all I did was sand those out so that the gun could pass through, the dust cover could pass over those, and then our tension is of course right here on our trigger guard like it is on most holsters, so that you end up getting that really nice click. I imagine TXC will create a holster specifically for the Hellcat Pro. This holster does fit the normal Hellcat and the Hellcat RDP. Again, the only reason that I had to modify it was because the Pro has the longer dust cover that comes out that's even with the slide. The other way that I modified this holster is I actually changed the clip. If you'll notice, I've got a plastic clip, and if you look on their website, you'll see that it ships with a metal clip. Now, the metal clips are great, except for they really tear up your belts, and they are harder than heck to put on and take off. My biggest problem with the X1 Pro was the ride height that it came with. With the metal clip, you were not able to adjust the ride height. You could kind of cant your clip, but you could not adjust how high or low the holster sat. And what ended up happening was my belt, it set so low, which when a holster sets lower, you can conceal it better. But it set so low against my pants line, I literally could not get my fingers in to hardly draw the gun effectively. So when I put on my plastic clip here, I moved the holster up as far as I could, moving the clip down so that I could get more clearance with my fingers. Now, after all my modifications have been done, I can draw super fast and the holster conceals very well. I can say that the two pieces of tech they have on here, both the Helix and the Wedge, are not gimmicks. They are awesome things that make the holster good. Overall, guys, I really like the X1 Pro. I think it's a great holster. I've been carrying it. It conceals super well in everything I wear. The Hellcat Pro is not a very hard gun to conceal anyways. I would be interested to know how the holster did with a larger gun. But I can tell you, with the Hellcat, with the full grip and the 15-round magazine, it conceals perfectly. And anytime I need a deep conceal option where I'm not sacrificing capacity, this is what I'm going to use.